Welcome back to your Aces franchise. Today we have a jam-packed full video as we're going to cover the end of the season, and then we're going to go over our studs of the year and our duds of the year. And that will be the players who performed the best throughout the season will receive a boost. The players who performed the worst in the season will be rewarded with a loss of attributes. This brings us to the game against the Rangers, where we have Aaron Kidd on the mound in his last start of the season, a 4.12 ERA and 118 innings, 4.9 record. He's been pretty awesome for us, so let's see how he can do in his last start against last season's reigning MVP winners. That will be a called strike on the bottom corner. Not sure about that one, but it'll be the first strikeout of the game for Aaron Kidd as he strikes out Leody Taveras. Let's check this pitch out again. A little low, but call's a call. That'll bring up Evan Carter, the rookie, hitting .299 this season, having a very good season. Let's see what Aaron Kidd can do. Aaron Kidd, the kid, on the mound. Slider inside, and that one is driven to center field and will be caught by Jake McCarthy. What a catch by Jake McCarthy to save a hit from Aaron Kidd. Oh yeah, look at him out there. Good job. And that'll bring up Corey Seager hitting .285. Pretty good season for him. He's looking to win MVP. As you can see there, he has 105 RBIs. I believe he's second in MVP voting, as that one's driven to center field, and it will be a home run for Corey Seager against Aaron Kidd, the first run of the game. And that ball was absolutely crushed over the batter's eye. See, it went 481. Wow. That brings up Adolis Garcia against Aaron Kidd. Let's see what Aaron Kidd will do. That one drilled center field, going back on it to McCarthy, and he will catch it at the warning track, and that will be the third out of the first inning. That brings us to the bottom of the first. Tyler Mahle on the mound, having a phenomenal season for the Rangers. 10-6 with a 3.21 ERA, 1.11 WHIP, only 100 strikeouts, so you'd look to get a little bit more than that. But in 131 innings, that's pretty good, as that'll bring up Jake McCarthy, who is 10th in the AL in stolen bases. And I want to give a reminder, he was hurt for most of the season, so let's see what he can do here against Tyler Mahle. And that ball's crushed! Right field. Jake McCarthy with a leadoff home run to start off the game for your Aces. Wow, that ball was absolutely crushed. No doubt home run from Jake McCarthy. And that'll bring up Jonathan India, second baseman acquired at the trade deadline. See what he can do. The 3-2 pitch from Tyler Mahle. Driven up to center field, and that will be a hit for Jonathan India. Back-to-back hits for the Aces. Let's see if we can get something going here. We have a tie game, but looking to give the Aces the lead and give that lead to Aaron Kidd. See how he can do. That'll bring up Steven Kwan, our second acquisition for the trade deadline. See what Kwan can do here. He's got 2 gold gloves, hitting .269. He's got 19 stolen bases, so we've got a lot of speed on the team. As on first base, we have Jonathan India, who also has 10 steals for the season, so definitely a good team stolen base wise. And Steven Kwan is leading the team in hits. That one is a strikeout swinging for Steven Kwan as he strikes out on the slider in. Let's watch this pitch, and wow, that ball hit him, but he still swung. I'll bring up Alec Burleson, our right fielder. See what he can do here against Tyler Mahle. 0-1 count. 226 average, so not what you want to see in this season. Although he's got 7 home runs, 30 RBIs. He is still a rookie this season, so I think that he can perform better going into future seasons, but definitely looking to have something here, as that ball is absolutely crushed to right field. No doubt home run number 2 of the inning. Alec Burleson goes yard off of Tyler Mahle, and yeah, that's how you want to end off a season right there. Wow, that ball is absolutely crushed. That'll bring up Corey Julks. Bottom of the first. See what he can do here against Tyler Mahle. Already 3-1 lead for the Aces. See what we can continue to do and see if we can build off this lead. Definitely will be a good lead for Aaron Kidd to be pitching in. That'll be a walk for Corey Julks. And that will bring up Gabriel Arias, not having a good season at all. See, could be a contender for Dud of the Year. See if he can at least have a good game to end off the season here against Tyler Mahle. 214 average, 590 OPS. You heard that correctly. 590 OPS. That is terrible. That's Chris Davis levels of bad. Gabriel Arias, we got to pick that up. We got to pick that up, man. Come on. That one to first base, thrown to second, but will be offline. Both runners will advance to their bases, and that will be an error on the first baseman, Nathaniel Lowe, as that one was, boom, should have been a double play right there, but the throw offline to second, and the throw to first was way behind. That'll bring up Kyle Stowers, the left fielder, selected in the 2021 draft, as that one's driven back at the wall and gone. Kyle Stowers advances the lead to 6-1 with the 3-run home run. That ball was absolutely crushed right to left center field and gone for Kyle Stowers. That'll bring us to the top of the second, where Aaron Kidd has a 6-1 lead. Let's see what he can do here against Marcus Semien, the perennial MVP vote getter, as that one's driven to right field and will be a hit. This might be a double as he's got the speed. Alec Brosen will pick it up and throw, but Marcus Semien will be safe at second base with a double. Runner on second here for Nathaniel Lowe. Had the error in the top of the first, or the bottom of the first, excuse me. See if he can make up for that error right here, as that one's to third base. Bobbled. Corey Julks will not have a throw, and that is an error for Corey Julks. That brings up Josh Jung. Great season in his sophomore season. See what he can do here with 2 men on. No outs in the second inning. That one, second base to shortstop to first, and it will be a double play. And that will bring up Ezekiel Duran. 255 average. He's got a career high in RBIs. Let's see what he can do here against Aaron Kidd, as that one is driven right down the right field line, and that will bring in a run and make it a 6-2 game for the Aces, as he will reach second with a double. 2 outs in the inning, as that one's up the middle. Jake McCarthy will field, throw, home, and he will be safe advancing home, and that will be a 6-3 game now for Aaron Kidd in the Aces. That brings us to the top of the third. Evan Carter up, the rookie. See what he can do here against Aaron Kidd in the third inning. Still a 6-3 game, as there's a slider taken low and inside for a strike. That one to shortstop, fielded, thrown, and that will be an out for the first out of the third inning from Gabriel Arias. Gabriel Arias might not be the best hitter thus far into the Aces franchise, but he's definitely still got the fielding, and I think that makes him valuable in every sense to us, because if he can field and make throws like that and get runners out, then if he's hitting not great, because he still had 7 home runs, if he's still hitting 210, and let's say next season he improves to 230, 240, and has 7 home runs, 40 RBIs, and he's making plays like that, I think that he can be our shortstop for as long as possible. He reminds me thus far as a better hitting home run, more home runs, better home run hitter than Miguel Rojas. So he reminds me of that, as Corey Seager goes down on the 4-seam low and outside for the third strikeout for Aaron Kidd. And that will be the second out of the third inning, and that will bring up Adolis Garcia. That will bring us to the bottom of the third. Alec Burleson up already with the 2-run home run this game. Let's see what he can do here in the third inning in his second at-bat. That will be a strikeout swinging for Alec Burleson as they call the check swing a swing. And that will bring up Corey Julks. Looking at his numbers, he's got a pretty low average, but that home run and RBI total shows me that he's a better hitter than his average says, as well as he also has 11 stolen bases. He's third on the team with 97 hits. I think Corey Julks is a piece that we can definitely build around and look to be our third baseman going forward for season 2 and potentially season 3. I want to see the average go up before we say he's going to be a stud that we build around for the whole series. And there's a ground ball to shortstop, and that will be an out for the second out of the third inning. That brings us to the top of the fourth, where Aaron Kidd has runners on the corners. Jonah Heim up, looking to get the double play right here. Let's see what Aaron Kidd will do with 2 runners on. That one to third base and will be caught. Line drive to Corey Julks for the second out of the fourth inning. That'll bring up Leody Taveras already with 2 strikeouts today. Let's see if Aaron Kidd can make that 3 and give him the golden sombrero. That'll be a strikeout swinging. Leody Taveras goes down. His 3rd strikeout of the game as he will put on a golden sombrero. That brings up Jake McCarthy. 7-3 game now following Matthew Batten's double. That brings up Jake McCarthy as he advances the runner, and that will be the second out, but not before the runner will advance to third base. That will bring up Jonathan India, 1 for 2 today. See if he can drive in this runner at third, get his first RBI of the game. That'll be a strikeout swinging for Jonathan India. He goes down against Dane Dunning. That'll bring up Josh Jung in the top of the 5th. Aaron Kidd at 84 pitches, getting tired. See if he can get out of this inning with only allowing 1 run, as there's a strike swinging for Josh Jung. That one to first base, and he will touch the bag, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning for the Aces. That'll bring up Gabriel Rice. Already 1 in the inning due to Alec Burleson's single. Let's see what Arise can do with runners on the corners. That one to first base. What a play! And that will be a double play. And what a way to make up for that error earlier in the game. But not before 1 run will score. Let's check out this double play again. What a play from Nathaniel Lowe. That'll bring up Kyle Stowers in the bottom of the 5th. Already 2 for 2 today. Let's see what Stowers can do. He's got a homer and a double. Let's see if he can get the triple or a single. That one down the line. And this should be a single for Kyle Stowers. Now only a triple away from the cycle. That brings us to the top of the 6th. With Alex Spees on the mound. Let's see what Spees can do here. Having a pretty good season. He was very underrated this season as he is only a 54 overall. But he throws gas. Throwing 101 miles per hour. There's 100 miles per hour right there to Ezekiel Duran. That one swung on and missed. 99 miles per hour down into the zone from Alex Spees, and that will be the 1st out of the 6th inning. That will bring up Jonah Heim. That'll be a popped up to left field, and under it is Quan, and that will be the 2nd out of the 6th inning for Alex Spees. That brings up Leody Taveras facing against Spees. Leody Taveras already 0 for 3 today with 3 strikeouts. Let's see what he can do here against a hard-throwing Spees. Not the call you want to see from the ump right there, as that's a walk for Alex Spees. That'll bring up Evan Carter. Let's see what Spees can do and see if he can get out of this inning. And that will be swung on! And that will be the 2nd strikeout of the inning for Alex Spees. That'll bring up Bert Bubba in the bottom of the 6th. After Jorge Alfaro got injured, Bubba is now our starting catcher. And that will be the first out of the 6th inning as Burt Bubba grounds out to shortstop. That'll bring up Jake McCarthy facing off against Dane Dunning. See what he can do here. That one's drilled. Right field, going back on it to Adolis Garcia, and it will be caught! And that is a robbed home run, I believe, by Adolis Garcia. Jake McCarthy not happy about that, but what a play. That'll bring up Jonathan India, bottom of the 6th. That one's popped into shallow right field, and that will be a base hit for Jonathan India, his 2nd of the game with a bloop single. That brings up Steven Kwan. No hits today as that one bloops into center for his 1st hit of the game. And that's what Steven Kwan does. He bloops singles and he gets hits, as there's his 1st hit of the game. And that'll bring up Alec Burleson already today with the home run. See if he can follow that up with another one. That one down the line, it will be called fair as Alec Burleson will score a run on a single there. And that makes it a 10-4 game. Alec Burleson, have yourself a day. That'll bring in the controversial reliever. Not sure why he's relieving, but Max Scherzer comes into the game for the Rangers, and that will bring up Corey Julks. That one driven to the left center gap, going back, and it will be an automatic double as it bounces over the wall, and that will drive in another run and make this an 11-4 game. And that will be the end of the game for the Aces as they beat the Rangers 11-4. Let's go ahead and finish out the rest of the season and get on to our season recap. That brings us to the end of the season for your Aces, and I apologize for my voice. I'm very sick right now, but I'm still gonna grind and get this video out for you guys. So that brings us to the end of the season where your Aces are 49-113. So pretty bad. Not a great season at all, but I want to go talk about, so let's go ahead and talk about everybody's performance through this season. So first off, we have Jake McCarthy, and Jake McCarthy might not seem like it, but he honestly had a really good season. He only played 93 games, so a little under his career high. He had 21 doubles in that time, 6 home runs, 3 triples, and 24 RBIs, as well as 26 walks to 52 strikeouts, which is very good. He also had 23 stolen bases this season, only caught 6 times, but 23 stolen bases is a lot, especially for us, as we're a team that is probably looking for more stolen bases considering we don't have the average, the power, the RBIs to build off of it, but just looking for singular player performance. He had a 703 OPS, which is pretty good, not great, but you know, in that amount of games I expect somewhere around this. He could have been better, but he filled in defensively and stolen base wise. So let's go ahead and look at his WAR. He had a 1.9 WAR, which is very good for the Aces. That's 1.9 games that we won because he was on our team. If you're not sure how WAR works, it's wins adjusted, wins above replacement. So if Jake McCarthy was not on our team, we would lose 1.5 games. So let's go ahead and look at Jonathan India, the trade piece. He had 19 doubles, 2 triples, 9 home runs, and 41 RBIs, 39 walks, and 63 strikeouts. So I like Jonathan India's stats a lot because looking at his strikeouts, he struck out almost 40 times less and walked not as much, but he's striking out less, and striking out is huge in this game because if you're striking out, that's just a waste. I'd rather you just not have an at bat if you're gonna strike out. If you ground out, if you ground out, they can make an error. If you ground out, you can advance a runner. So if you're striking out, that's not gonna help out the team. So I really like Jonathan India getting those strikeouts lower. He didn't hit as many home runs as last season, but I still think he had a very good season. He had 274, which is career high, 751, which is not a career high, but pretty close. He also had 1.9 WAR, so I like to see WAR around 1.5 to 2 for this season specifically. going forward, I hope that we can have some players who are 5 WAR, 6 WAR, but I think right now looking for a 2 WAR, 1.5 WAR is probably more what we're going to see from this team. Let's go ahead and look at Steven Kwan, who I personally think is probably going to be our generational player to build this team around. I really think Steven Kwan is very underrated in real life and in the game. So he had a very good season, 8 home runs, 36 RBIs, 77 walks to 72 strikeouts. That is elite. He's walking more than he is striking out. That is Juan Soto level. He's also getting on base at a 363 clip, which is very good, and a 737 OPS. Let's go check out his WAR. 3.1 WAR, career tying high. That is awesome, and this is exactly why we picked up Steven Kwan, for him to be that on-base guy who doesn't strike out as much. He's going to get on base, and he even hit 8 home runs, which is a career high. He's not going to get a bunch of RBIs, he's not going to hit a bunch of home runs, but if he continues to improve on his home runs how he did, and he's hitting doubles at a 26, 36, 25 rate, he's going to be a very good player. So let's go ahead and look at the next player. The next player we have is Lawrence Butler, who he only played 89 games. He wasn't really that good. A 696 nice OPS and a 1.0 WAR. I mean, he was a good bench bat, and he was good. He's young. He's only 23, so I think that he will definitely be able to build off of this season once he gets more games, more at-bats. So let's go ahead and jump into the next player. That brings us to Nick Senzel, who was pretty poor, sadly, this season. He did walk a lot compared to the strikeouts, so I like to see that, especially I feel as a manager I prefer the higher walks to lower strikeouts. I'd rather guys who ground out and get out a lot more. As I explained earlier, I'd rather have someone get out on the base path or get out, fly ball, pop out, or something like that compared to a strikeout. But a 208 average is not acceptable at all. As well as he also had a negative WAR, so we lost 1 game just because he was on the team, so that's a little sad. Definitely look for a new third baseman or second base, shortstop, whatever position we had him playing at. Let's see, he was playing third base. Corey Julks was injured, but I think both of them, we kind of need a third baseman there. Let's go ahead and move over to Gabriel Ariz. So Gabriel Ariz was pretty bad. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he's 24, but this is just not okay. I mean, 213 average, 584 OPS. He did have a positive WAR, surprisingly, but I do think that he can build off of this. I was really hoping for him to be a 20 home run type of guy, 15 home runs maybe. A little disappointing. He did walk a decent amount, but he did strike out a lot. He was stealing bases, but he was getting caught stealing bases. So everything he did positively, he did something worse negatively. So that just isn't going to work out for us. So might need to look for a new shortstop, but let's see. Let's continue to look at our players and see how everyone did. That brings us to Kyle Stowers, who I think had honestly an underrated season. He was injured for most of the season, so he didn't play a ton. 87 games, 19 doubles, 2 triples, 4 home runs, 32 RBIs. No, the walks were terrible. Yes, the strikeouts were terrible. The average was decent, the OPS was okay, and the WAR, he was flat at 0. I do think if he did play more, I think that WAR would have gone up, because he did start out the season pretty slow, but then he started heating up once he came back from injury. So I do think that he is still a good player for us. I'm not sure if he will be our starting center fielder going into next season, or starting left fielder, but we'll see. He definitely will be on the team as a bench bat and on the 40-man roster. Let's go ahead and jump into the next player. The next player we have is Matthew Batten, and honestly, Batten was pretty underrated. He didn't play that much because he was injured, but when he was playing, he was hitting decent, 236. He also had 6 stolen bases, so these are really good stolen base numbers from everyone. He did strike out a lot, walked a decent amount. He was not hitting home runs, but we don't really expect him to hit that many home runs, so it's alright. I mean, he's a guy who will probably become a platoon player, but we'll have to see. Looking at his WAR, he did have a 1.8 WAR, so that's pretty good. I believe that is second highest, so thus far on the team behind Steven Kwan. So honestly, not too bad of a season. I'm pretty proud of how he did. I wish that he would have gotten to play more and wasn't injured, but injury bug strikes and it goes. Let's jump into the next player. The next player we had was Burt Bubba, and I want to say Burt Bubba was pretty disappointing, but we know what we're getting with him. He's going to be a power first guy who hits home runs and then gets to average second. Did have a 670 OPS. He only played 50 games, so I will give him the benefit of the doubt. He did hit 9 home runs, which is pretty good. Strikes out a lot to walk. Negative WAR. He just didn't get the time to prove that he's good or to prove that he's bad, so we'll just move on from him and we'll just say that his performance will need to be based off of next season. That brings us to Ryan Connors, and Ryan Connors was honestly pretty decent. He didn't play a ton, but when he did, I mean, you knew what to expect. He was going to get on base, or he's going to hit a home run, or he was going to get a double, or just not anything too crazy. He was just going to find a way. He was either going to get on base or he wasn't. That's what type of player he was. A little disappointing. Corey Julks was honestly, I was surprised how many home runs this guy hit, because he does not have the power attribute. So maybe, just maybe, he has something here. I mean, the OPS average way too low, and the WAR, abysmal. But maybe something here for a platoon player, maybe going forward, only hitting against righties, because he's got the power against righties, contact against righties. We'll see. Alvaro Robert he only got 5 at-bats, so we're not even going to judge that. Jorge Alfaro, honestly a really good season for a backup catcher. 11 doubles, 1 home run, 17 RBIs. Yeah, he's not going to hit a bunch of home runs. He's not going to get on base a bunch. But he's a decent 277, 713. He won us almost a whole game just for being a backup. So good job, Jorge Alfaro. That's really good numbers. Alec Burleson, I think that he honestly had a pretty decent season. And you can see that he did improve a lot against lefties compared to righties. I think he had a decent season. He wasn't great, but I feel that he can still improve a lot, and I still believe in him. And I think that he has what it takes to be a good player. So let's go ahead and jump into pitching. Looking at Emmett Sheehan, our ace, I think he honestly had a pretty good season. 9-13, 190 innings pitched, 131 strikeouts, 4.31 ERA. I mean, it's not great, but for us, I feel like that's pretty good. Bailey Falter, honestly, I think he was really good since coming to us. He had a 6 ERA when he came to us. He has a 4.73. He only pitched around 20 innings. So 20, 30 innings. So I think that he can still be something very good next season. The kid, Aaron Kidd, 4.10 ERA and 123 innings pitched. I think he was great. Probably our best pitcher. Maybe even our stud of the year. Great season from Aaron Kidd. Thad Lyons was honestly very underrated. I didn't talk about him much, but he was a guy who we called up to fill in for the rotation, and he was really good, honestly. 3.53 ERA, 73 strikeouts in 81 innings, 3-5 record. Honestly, really good. Mitch Spence, not great. Darren McCann, decent. Yeah, I like that for a long reliever. That's pretty good. Prelander Barrera, honestly pretty decent. This is another guy I didn't really highlight, but we picked him up in the draft. We picked him up when we took over the team and drafted for the Aces. Jorge Alcala, good, very good pickup for us. Mark Leiter Jr., same, very good pickup for us. Probably will be our closer moving into next season. We'll see. Gerson Moreno didn't pitch enough. And Luis Ortiz was not great. He did fill in as our closer down the line once we traded Zach Pop, but not a great season. That brings us to the end of this episode. I want to say thank you again to all of you guys. I appreciate every single one of you. I will be posting another video pretty soon. I apologize for how long it's taken for this one to get up. I am very sick right now and struggling. I'm trying to make this episode as best as I can. So thank you guys for watching. Next episode we will go over award winners. We will go over stud and dud of the year. and we will go into the offseason and make some signings. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.